ask such a question. Joshua Law is away and clear, no pressure for him. Gibbons has possibly a slight move in the middle. Race, and he managed to clip on that one. Brown is through Coram, and already Joshua Law is going to come back towards us to complete lap number 1. From Mackenzie Walker in 3rd position. They're not dropping Richard Johnson particularly either. Johnson and Timothy Tudor, to give him credit, staying with them in 4th and 5th. Holton, Stoughton up 1 position on that lap number 1 as well. The 26 now running in 7th place. They'll make their way up towards the top end of the circuit then. This pretty tricky section, because Richie, you've got all of that aerodynamic balance, but it comes off the car, does that downforce, as you hit the brakes into Wilson, something that Joshua Law will be very familiar with, having raced in this championship for a number of seasons, as too has Michael Gibbons, the man who gives chase in these early stages. They then understand a similar sort of experience, having gone through the quick left-hander of Palmer. Timothy Tudor shapes up for a move to the inside of Agostini, but he was too far back to really think about that. Just wanted to fill the mirrors of Richard Johnson up the road ahead of him. Initially, Joshua Law making a good breakaway, and indeed on sector 1 of this lap, he's actually 4/10 quicker than Michael Gibbons. So Law attempting to open up the advantage out front. Law's got the advantage in the championship, and he's got the advantage at the beginning of their first race of the weekend. He's significantly quicker in sector 1 than some of the cars that are chasing him down, actually. It was a 35.9 for Joshua Law in there. Gibbons, 36.3, and behind her it's a 36.9 actually for some of the cars that attempt to be on the far side of the corner. Of course, Johnson gets on the power that little bit earlier, is able to accelerate away rather well, but not as well as he would have hoped actually, because as they come towards us, the 67 is slowing. Mackenzie Walker has had an issue on the start finish straight. Flame out the back of the exhaust. It then dies down, as does the engine, however. So Mackenzie Walker pulls across the pit lane exit onto the grass, will go no further. The car that was running 3rd is out. Mackenzie Walker out of the car, but that one is not going to move particularly quickly. At the moment we're still under green flag conditions. There's a yellow flag being waved on the pit straight, of course, so it could hamper overtaking next time round. But that car is about as well out of harm's way as you can have on the pit straight here at Snetterton. For reference, in the historics, it is still Street leading the way, Paul Street. He actually had to regain that position last time around from Chris Snowden, but managed to do that on the previous lap. So it's Street leading from Snowden, who is actually respectively leading the historic C-Class, so he's doing well for machines of that particular age, as Richard Johnson might be slowing as well, is he? Johnson seems to have a problem. He does. Johnson, through Hamilton, pulled off the racing line. He's let through Stoughton and a whole bunch of others, and now it's Richard Johnson's turn to have an issue. So first the 3rd place driver falls out, then the car that was running in 3rd has an issue in 3rd. When they come back round, there's no change at the front. Quickly in the first couple of sections as well, and Joshua Law. To open his margin to almost 2 seconds over Michael Gibbons, and 3rd place is indeed Timothy Tudor. Mackenzie Walker falling down the order, Richard Johnson falling down the order, because into 4th position goes the 8 of David Houghton. This one evolving, twisting, changing all the time. It's the advantage over the line. Ashley or Tom Stoughton all gaining positions actually. Amongst it all, I think Nick Johnson's gaining some positions as well. as Richard has fallen out of the race. What that does mean championship-wise is that whilst it was always going to be a long shot for Richard Johnson, it is definitely over now because he had 83 points including drop scores coming in. That should increase to around about 92 once this score is dropped inevitably. But Gibbons and Josh Law are on course for two pretty big results, which will make his job all but impossible going into the last couple of races. If not mathematically, then he would certainly need work to go his way. How is it looking out front? Still increasing is the answer, because whilst they're no longer doing fastest first sectors, of course with the yellow flags out, they are running relatively well. There's a yellow flag on the exit of Ritchie's, and in fact there is a car that's going off. Another car. Is anybody not clocking through sector what they would expect? Not at the top end of the order. That one plays out. Still, John Paul away from third. He's now in fifth position and leading, let's not forget. And there is Roger Donnan who attempts to give chase to Josh Orton. The rear tyres squeal more than the engines roar in the Sports 2000s, but somebody pushing the limits of adhesion. Timothy Tudor, it might be, that's ground to a halt in amongst all of that. I do not believe it. Timothy Tudor, the next car to drop out of third position. It is. Josh Lowe came through in first, Michael Rubens came through in second, and the third victim of third place. Around 12, 13, yet more cars cross the line. Teammate John Ireland crosses the line. Where is Timothy Tudor? The answer, nowhere to be seen. What sector did he last come through will then be the inevitable question. The answer is we've lost him in sector 3, haven't we, with Timothy Tudor? And he does not quite seem visible on any of the cameras that we've got available to us. But Tim Tudor, a third victim to drop out of third position. Nobody wants to be on the podium. In your order, what that does is it puts Josh Law into first position because he was always there. The same is true of Michael Gibbons, the number 1 car, in second place. And now promoted up 3 spots, Orton from or at least trying to, albeit he's actually being closed in a little bit by the likes of Tom Stoughton, Ashley Law, other Johnson, Nick Johnson out there. From Ashley Law, who in turn was within half a second of Tom Stoughton, overtaking never easy here. Now battling it out for 5th position. That'll compromise his exit and gives the opportunity for Ashley Law to launch an attack. The 73 piling on the pressure for Tom Stoughton. Stoughton takes the racing line at Ritchie's. It opens up the inside for Ashley Law. Can't quite get there. He stuck his nose in under braking, but the gap always going to close. Behind them, Roger Donnan coming under plenty of pressure as well. Of course, he's got Needham and Rower both attempting to shovel him back out all the way. And then the 28 and 77 giving us a good show down the order as well. That's the way that we're currently 11th position. Black and white flag 62 for track limits. That's actually Nick Johnson running and indeed leading in the invitational class. Johnson at this stage is in that hunt with Ashley Law and Tom Stoughton for a top 5 position. They are all looking for it. Only one of them will get it on current form at the end of this race. We've got 9 minutes remaining, and let's have a quick check-in with our historic class. To deal back to the cars behind him, because Aldworth and Mike Fry are both within a second of the historic C leader, and that's all historic C cars. So keep an eye out for that 30. They're making their way to the Wilson hairpin now. 7 is matched by Michael Gibbons. 0.86 back. Next car we see, we've got to wait some more, because with 3 cars having dropped out of this gap in the middle, it feels that move done on the previous lap. Ashley Lowe up towards turn number 1, stretching his legs just a little bit now. He's been released from what was a bit of a prison almost behind Tom Snetterton, but he's now able to stretch and put in a personal best lap of the race, 56.899. You're actually quicker than Paul turn up ahead. That means 3.5 seconds, 7.5 minutes on the clock. There's a chance that one comes down as well. That's shaping just before going to the inside. We saw what I think was Andrew Butler further down the order, contemplating a bit of Butler that was considering a move, but not quite close enough at this point.